Welcome back to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Saga 960. We're chatting tonight with Joanne Vivolo, who is an author, blogger, coach, CEO, and actor, and an expert on turning your business online. And we're chatting about how to do that, particularly relevant since COVID-19 has put us all back in our home offices and not going downtown and not interacting real life as much anymore. So Joanne, let's go back to the beginning if we could. How did you get started with online coaching?
So here's the funny thing, Brian, is that I never really intended to, I didn't set out, I didn't premeditate an online coaching until I had an influx of demand. So I was really getting flooded with personal messages from people asking me, how is it that you write books? How do I get my books published? How is it that you are blogging and you're so successful at it? How do you even earn money from blogging? How is it that you have, so many followers on your social platform? How is it that you're making money? How is it that you can stay home and raise your kids and have this lifestyle where you can work from anywhere? So all of these questions kept coming into me, and I would answer them. I would answer them on an individual basis, but it became a little bit too much. Like I was being flooded with questions and inquiries, and I realized there was a high demand for it. People want to know. So I thought, what better way than to create a course or create a class and to create something that people are in need of. And that's where the coaching really turned out. I created a course called Boss Your Business, which is basically being the boss of your own business and how to do that and how to monetize from it, how to get it online, how to get it in front of the eyes of thousands of people, and really put it on autopilot so that you're making money without having to be in front of somebody 24/7.
So this program called Boss Your Business, it's available on your website?
It is available, absolutely. JoanneVivolo.com. I think you can go into the, I switch up my website every once in a while, but it's courses and books and courses. And it's called Boss Your Business. Actually, I have a 50% promotion going on right now where you can get it for half off by using promo code BOSS50. So it's pretty simple to remember. And it is something that really walks you right through the steps from A to Z, how to create that platform, how to market it, how to launch it like a pro, and how to make it on autopilot so that you're always earning.
So don't give us away the secret, but give us a synopsis of what one might learn on Boss Your Business.
Definitely. So Boss Your Business is going to literally teach you how to launch what you already know, things that you're already doing, whether you're in photography, whether you are a painter, whether you are an actor, anything that you do is a teachable, you can convert it into a teachable product for somebody else. Because you think about when you first started off in radio, Brian, and the learning curve that you already went through now, you've been in radio for X a number of years. Somebody coming into radio would probably be, maybe nervous about voicing their first commercial or having their own radio show. So they would come to you and say, how did you get started? And what did you do? And what equipment do you use? And how long are your shows? And how do you reach out to people to be on your show? And all of these things that come second nature to you, but aren't for the average person just getting into it. So you can easily convert all the things that you have done, all the knowledge that you have in a specific area, and offer it in a packaged program or a class, and then market it to the masses. So basically, Boss Your Business is teaching you how to take what you already know and make it a viable business where you're earning over and over and over.
A viable business online.
Online, absolutely. You have to do it online because you're basically going to be living your laptop lifestyle. So you can be sitting on the beach enjoying a margarita, and people are entering your class on a constant rotation.
So explain to me, if you could, what's laptop lifestyle? Just that you can do it anywhere a laptop can go?
Absolutely, but don't get me wrong when I say this. I mean, right now I am using my time, and you're using your time, and we're having this conversation, and we're performing this linguistic radio station. But having your own online business, you're going to automate it. So you're going to create a class or a course that's pre-recorded with slideshows or videos or worksheets or something that is not taking your time. So you don't want to exchange your time for dollars, because if we did that, we wouldn't ever have enough time in our day to do all the other things we want to do. So I'm teaching people how to set themselves up on an automated system where they can go off and raise their children and play on the beach and go for bike rides and do all these things that they want to do and still make money, because people are still entering their automated classes.
What's a power mom? You refer to yourself as a power mom.
Yes, I say power mom because honestly, I wear so many hats. I talked to you before about this. I am an author. I also blog. I also do acting. I am a CEO. I own investment properties. I'm doing so many things at once. And I've set it all up so that my money and my knowledge is working for me, and I'm not working for that, right? I'm able to free up my time to do all these amazing things that I love to do, like being on set and being on radio shows just like yours, while I'm still earning an income. I'm not stuck behind a desk at a 9-to-5 job waiting to come home and spend the time with my kids. I'm doing that now.
You're also, and you talk about this on your website, very inspirational. Do you do, coaching for people on motivation and inspiration as well?
I don't have any automated systems set up for that, but by all means, I do use my social media to always be inspiring to people. I get private messages all the time. I still try to respond to every single one of them, because I think being authentic and personal and being the real you online is what really drives your brand and your business. So if someone doesn't feel a connection to you, or they don't feel like you're being authentic, then they're not even going to look at any kind of product or service that you offer. So when you can be real with people online and use those platforms to showcase, an authentic lifestyle, you create relationships where you can, grow and foster.
So if I went to Boss Your Business on your website, which is joannevivolo.com, and you've got a product page, Boss Your Business, what would I find there, and how much does it cost?
So Boss Your Business typically runs about $249 for the course. It is a 4-day course where you can just do it at your own time. I set it up in 4 separate segments, but that doesn't mean you have to do it in 4 days. You can do it in 4 months, as long as you're doing it in chronological order and that you're doing it at your own pace, because everybody learns and everyone has different challenges. So it's set up in 4 different segments where you can go as fast or as slow as you need to go. It's yours to keep for whenever you want and to work at your own pace. But I also have a 50% off promotion right now for that. So you would get it for, what did I say? It was $297. So you get it for half price with the promo code BOSS50.
Okay. And what's the content? Give me a sense of the table of contents, or what do I learn on the difference of the 4 days?
So it's set up in segments so that you're able to learn how to grow an audience of the right people based on what it is that you are trying to sell or to teach somebody. You're also going on about email lists, the importance of social media, and what all that means and how to use that to the best of your advantage. Also, how maybe too much information may be hurting your brand. If you've ever walked into a restaurant and there's 45 items on the menu, it's hard to decide. But when there's 5 items, it's easier to make that decision. So too much information can sometimes be hurting people, and we don't see it in our own business. So we discuss that, how to actually launch like a pro instead of like an amateur, because that really makes a difference when you are presenting yourself as an expert in the field that you are offering a service or a product to somebody. Selling on autopilot, this is exactly what I spoke about. I'm able to earn money and make money from my business while I'm doing really fun things like being on radio shows. So I want to teach you how to set it all up on autopilot so you can make the money and still live your life that you want to live. Mistakes to avoid. We often talk about the processes and the policies and the procedures, and we sometimes don't talk about what not to do, and that is just as important as to what to do. I talk about webinars and social lives and how to use those to your advantage, because some people don't even use the tools that are absolutely free to them, and they just kind of bypass them because maybe they don't know how to use them. I talk about creating urgency. We often forget, we see it on commercials all the time, like the amount of urgency that's created, limited seating and buy it now, and there's a discount code, and flash sales. Also monetization. How do you actually monetize from it? People don't understand how you can create more avenues of revenue within your business other than just the product that you're selling.
Okay, so let me ask you about a few of them. What's a social live?
So when you're using like platforms like your Instagram lives or your Facebook lives, a lot of people go on live and they're like, hey, just live here, I got new AirPods. And they're talking about irrelevant things when they could be using their lives as you would a webinar, offering what I call an appetizer. You want to give somebody an appetizer to what it is that you're trying to sell so that they will buy the meal. You see it in Costco on the little stands where they're giving you little samples. They give you samples of what it is they want you to buy because they want you to see that it works. So when you're doing your online business, you want to give a little appetizer. You want to show the need or how you're going to solve that person's problem. And then they say, okay, well, I need your course. That's exactly what I need you to do for me. That's what the answers that I'm looking for. And there's such simple strategies that people tend to overlook, making things easy for people to say yes to.
So I guess what you're suggesting is that you and I should do a social live the day of or the day before we broadcast the show so that we can advertise the show. Is that a good idea?
That would be a good idea where you could sample maybe what's going to be on the show. But I'm sure, Brian, that you've watched webinars before, or you signed up to webinars, right? Like, sign up here. I'm going to teach you my 3-step method on how to whatever that you're doing, right? So people say, okay, I'm going to log into that social live, or I'm going to subscribe to their webinar, and I'm going to give you the information on that 3-step process. But during that webinar or that social live, I'm also going to sell you something on the back end. So I gave you this 3-step process, but if you want to know more and you want the whole package, then come join me, click this link, subscribe, whatever it is, whatever your call to action that you want them to do is what you're going to sell it on.
And that's what you're talking about, monetization, correct?
No, monetization is a totally different thing.
Okay,
Your call to
monetization.
Your call to action is what you want your viewer to do. What it is, like you have to ask them, do you want them to subscribe to your email list? Do you want them to make a comment? Do you want them to share your post or your video or your blog? That's a call to action. Do you want them to sign up to something? Monetization is a totally different thing. So monetizing is showing people how to make money outside of what they're already doing. So if they're selling a product, that's wonderful. But when you're writing a blog, there are a multitude of ways to earn money from your blog. People don't realize that. They think, for the love of words, I'm just going to put out a blog. whereas they don't realize they can position themselves as freelancers. They can ask for, which I do quite often. I spotlight people on my blog and they pay me for it. I do a blog all about them, what they're about, what they're offering, direct links to their websites or their products or whatnot. It's basically piggybacking on somebody else's fellowship that you would have never had eyes to before. And people pay for that.
We're chatting today with Joanne Vivolo, an author and a coach and a blogger. We're going to take a short break for a message. Stay with us, and we're going to come back more, and we're going to talk about blogging. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour, Saga 960. We're chatting with Joanne Vivolo, an author, a blogger, a coach, a CEO, and an actor. Since COVID-19, she's been very proactive, as we've heard, on teaching people and coaching people on how to live their lives effectively online. And she calls it the benefits of a laptop lifestyle. In addition to that, though, Joanne, you've been doing a lot of blogging. Tell me, what is your online business on blogging and how'd you get into it?
So blogging, I ultimately created as a secondary a platform to my published books. So when I first became an author and I was putting out books, I was doing book signs, I was doing events, I was doing, meet and greets and everything. And that was wonderful. I was looking for another outlet, something else that could showcase my talent as an author. And blogging was one of the things that was a very popular method of people having a voice and an opinion. And blogging is also, I don't remember the statistics to it, but it is climbing rapidly in the popular demand on how people are seeking information, how they are going about in getting information. Before, newspapers and magazines and even television shows were very, very popular. Blogging has now hit a platform where that is becoming just as important and a go-to source for information. So blogging became a secondary platform for me to showcase my talent as an author, which had ended up growing into something completely more than what I expected, because I figured out that I could actually make more money from blogging than I could from the royalties of my books. So it kind of grew in an organic way and very well received.
And so what is it you blog about?
So my blog is the Jolo lifestyle blog. And Jolo is just kind of a play on my name specifically. So J-O for Joanne and Lo for Vivolo. So I just combined it as the Jolo lifestyle blog. So basically I'm blogging about all things lifestyle. I love to showcase and highlight and put the spotlight on other amazing entrepreneurs and women empowerment and local businesses in the GTHA area. Because when you have a platform and you have a good fellowship, I think it's important to try and share that gift with other people who want to be a little bit more visible in a larger crowd.
Right. Okay, good. And so it's a lot of different things that you're showcasing on this blog. How do you monetize it?
I monetize it in many ways. So I do a lot of things like ads. I do Google advertisements. So every time somebody clicks on an ad that's running through my website, I get money for that. You've got me on the spot here because it depends on what it is that I'm doing. Sometimes I'm showcasing a product for somebody, which they've paid me to influence. So I use my influence and my fellowship to earn money. Also, like I just spoke about in terms of featuring other people, people paying me to feature them. I use it as a coaching method. So remember I spoke about using an automated system. I use my blog to kind of promote people to get into my automated system so that they can learn about other products and services that I sell. I could also use it as like a freelance blogger if I'm going to blog on somebody else's platform. Let's don't have time to put out a blog on a regular basis. They would hire me to guest blog for them. I talked about doing online courses with you already. We talked in extent to doing that. I also advertise my Kindle books, my ebooks that people can purchase. When people subscribe to my email list, they're getting a whole back end flow of sales that way. Private labeling is another way. I don't specifically do private labeling, but it is a method of monetizing. So I could create content and script that people would buy from me and use it as their own.
Right.
So it's somewhat similar to like freelance writing, but it's called private labeling for script writing. There's a plethora of things that you can do to monetize from your blog, and surprisingly enough, so many bloggers that I know, because I'm always dissecting other people's blogs, they're not using those methods at all. They're just putting out blogs and not
Turn it into money.
really partnering with anybody. Yeah, it's missed opportunities.
And so you teach a course on blogging as well.
Absolutely. So the course that I teach, I do a couple of courses. So the primary one is called Blog Like a Boss. And that is an automated online class that I've set up. It's a 7-day class. So I'm not in front of you on a live camera teaching you. It is an automated class. And it is my second best-selling class. I do one-on-one coaching, and they're generally a little bit more expensive because I'm using my time. I'm doing 3 hours with you of my time. But I also do some group coaching on blogging, which is really fun because I love to gather a small intimate group of about 10 people, and we talk about the myths, the mistakes, monetizing, everything about blogs that people want to know. And as a live group, before COVID, I would actually go to like a cafe and we would have these in-person meetings, but COVID happened. So I brought it online. So we have like these Zoom calls or these Facebook room live calls where we can gather as a small group. And I never allow any more than 10 because it gets a little crowded and it gets a little too noisy. So I keep it at 10, and it's really reasonable. It's $20 for a plethora of information. And I'm having another one. I'm hosting another one on July 29th, and you can sign up on joannevivolo.com for that. And I've done them in the past. I've done a few of them, and they're a huge success.
Awesome. And do you do podcasts?
You know what, Brian? Everyone keeps asking me to get into podcasts, and you know what? It's just I haven't done it. I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't felt the urgency to start one. I know they can be incredibly successful, but it's just I feel like my plate is full. I have, like I said, I'm also a CEO of a corporation, of a company, and that takes a lot of my time outside of everything else that I'm doing. And I say mom boss because I have 3 children, and they are my primary source of why I've built my empire the way I have. I've built it and I've structured it so that my knowledge and my money is working for me, so that it frees up my time to spend with my kids and to run the corporation.
You seem like you've got it all. You got it all figured out. Like what caused this? Was it your desire to spend times with your kids? Was there some catalyst to figuring it all out?
I think it is a culmination of a lot of things. So I have a business degree. I went to school for business. Business has always been my passion. My father, he didn't grow up with many things. There wasn't, he wasn't a rich man, and he, worked very hard for everything that he had, and showed us the ropes kind of on whoever wanted to listen on how to build that foundation for yourself. And I kind of just fell in love with the business world. And I went into, I was in the gas and electricity industry, and I was the right hand man to the CEO of this company, and I would spend like 12 hours working because I loved it, and not because of anything else, because I really enjoyed the work that I did. But when I became a mom, it's not that the passion fell out, it's just my priorities kind of changed. And I didn't have children for other people to raise them. I wanted to be able to raise my children myself. And I wanted it all. Selfishly, I wanted to be the businesswoman and I wanted to be the mom. So I brainstormed and I thought, how can I make this happen? So when I was home, the process that went along, because Rome wasn't built in a day, and all the things that I do was not built in a day either. So when I was home on maternity leave, I felt like, what am I doing with myself? My brain's going to go to mush. I need to do something. So I started writing books. And then when that took off, I started blogging. And then when the influx of questions and how do you do it all? And what's your magic success? Which really, there is no magic success. It is just hard work and dedication. So then the courses and the classes started with that. And I always did investments, even when I was working my 9 to 5. I always had investments on the side, because I mean, if you're not turning your money into more money, then you're just spending it, right? So that is really the foundation of how I did it. And how acting came along, it's a funny story though, Brian, because ever since I was a little girl, I loved acting, I loved singing, I loved doing those kind of things. And I never pursued them, just because I was always, my 9 to 5 job. How do you go to an audition at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when you're in a board meeting, right? So once I was able to establish my laptop lifestyle, I thought, now is the time when I get into acting. And I can't say I'm wildly successful at it, but I've been on television shows and I've done some things that I just absolutely adore and I love. And I'm able to spend 12 and 16 hours on set because I have mastered my business to work behind the scenes for me while I'm doing all the things in life that I want to do. And I want that. I seriously want that for everybody else. So I created courses to teach people that it can be done. This is how you do it.
You seem extremely driven. Where does that come from?
You know what? I can't answer that. I think it's like the youngest child syndrome. I want to say, I don't know. I just know I want what I want, but I also don't want anybody to do it for me but me. So when I'm driving a nice car, I want to say I worked damn hard for that. That's, somebody didn't just hand it to me. Nothing in my life was ever handed to me. I made sure I worked for it. I paid my schooling off on my own. I was willing to make sacrifices to get me to where I wanted to be. And I think that is something that I strongly educate my children with. When they're like, oh, I'll use AirPods again as an example. Can I have a set of AirPods? And I say to them, sure you can. Go have a garage sale and go make $200 and then you can buy them. Because I think that was the best gift my father has ever given me, was to say, you can have anything you want in life when you work hard for it. I think when it's given to you, you don't really appreciate it.
You can have anything in your life when you work hard to get it.
Absolutely.
It's a good.
And that's the drive, that's the motivation. If I want, a new pair of designer shoes, nobody's buying that for me. I got to work hard for that. And then I'm going to appreciate it because I had to work very hard for it.
Now, you told me earlier that when you were growing up, your family ran homes for mental health people. Was being in that kind of an environment an impact on who you are and who you became?
I want to say yes, absolutely. Only I didn't know it at the time. I mean, it was a hard business. You really saw some raw life. You saw some people going down some rabbit holes that you maybe didn't even understand at the time. I think it gave me a foundation and appreciation for how blessed we are as people. You know, everyone has struggles. Absolutely, everybody does. Some people just struggle more. And I think being aware of that, being aware of mental health at such an early age has given me a gift, of that type of knowledge.
We're chatting with Joanne Vivolo tonight about a laptop lifestyle, and about sort of living your business life, at least online. Stay with us for a couple of messages, and we'll be right back for some concluding comments. Well, we're back with Joanne Vivolo, a author, a blogger, a coach, a teacher, a actor, and a super mom. And it seems like a very inspirational person. Joanne, how does someone get going at any of these things that you've been talking about?
You know what, Brian? That is an amazing question. And a lot of people feel overwhelmed before they even started. So the first thing I always say is, how do you get started is just by taking that first step. And I'm going to tell you something, that we are our own worst critic at everything we do. No matter what we do, no matter how we master it, no matter how many times we've proofread it, like anything, we will always find mistake and misery in what we're doing. We need to actually learn that, for one, it's okay to make a mistake. That is what our foundation of learning is based on. I call mistakes our mini miracles, because without that mistake, we really cannot have a true learning experience. So how do you get started? You get started just by doing the very first step. Let the learning curve come organically to you. You're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. Don't shame yourself. Don't stop because of that mistake. Don't back away. Just know that mistakes are part of the process and embrace them.
And that sounds like what you did.
Absolutely. And everything that I do, including parenthood, because we all know that parenthood is filled with mistakes. The best thing we can do is just, let ourselves be open to constructive criticism. Instead of taking offense, like, you know what, you might have done this wrong, or you're missing this step, or you can do this better. Instead of taking offense to that, embrace that information and be like, wow, thank you. Like, find the gratitude in it, and then, make adjustments. It's what we do. It's the only way we can grow and be a little bit more successful than we were yesterday.
So is your next blog going to be on parenting?
No, it's not. Actually, my next blog will be on this little product here. It's called Enjo. So somebody sent this to me. It is an amazing product, but you'll have to read the blog to find out all about it. The Jolo lifestyle blog.
The Jolo lifestyle blog. Sounds like I'm going to have to subscribe for it. I did notice that as soon as I checked into your website, you were like the very first thing that came up was trying to get my email address to get all of your notifications. So you practice what you teach incredibly well. So if people are interested in the things that we're talking about, let's review how we get there. So the Boss Your Business is available on your website, which is joannevivolo.com. And you're offering a discount right now?
50% off with promo code BOSS50. Huge savings on that.
Huge savings. And that's a 4-day program, and it'll teach us how to get going online effectively and how to monetize.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then the blogging is also available on your website?
Yes, absolutely. That's the same thing. Obviously, joannevivolo.com. Just take a look at the pull down menu or the tabs across the top. Look at the workshops and books section, and everything is there. So the fundamentals of creating, building, and launching your own successful blog. There's a $20 live class going on called Blogging Debunked. It's July 29th. I'd love for you guys to join me.
Okay. And that's only 10 people.
10 people max. Yes.
Unbelievable. Well, thank you very much, Joanne Vivolo, for telling us a lot about being, what was it? What was your first thing? You were a boss something? Boss mom?
Mom boss.
mom boss. I apologize. A mom boss, and your own CEO, and really learning how to run your lives on social media. We're going to take another break and come back with some final comments. Stay with us. Well, that was a very interesting conversation we had tonight with Joanne Vivolo, who is, as I mentioned before, an author, a blogger, a mompreneur, a CEO of her own business that does investments, as well as educating a lot of people online in regards to how to make business money online with their business. And I think that she's given us a lot to think about. And I guess one of the reasons why I really wanted to have Joanne back, because I had her on my show a couple of months ago before COVID-19, was I think that not enough people realize the world has changed. I just don't know how many people are going to be willing to go back to exactly the way it was right before. People are going to be a little bit more concerned about viruses, particularly if we have either this continual wave and or second wave. They're going to be worried about infection. They're going to be worried about getting sick. They're going to be worried about seeing other people. And so therefore, more and more of us should be thinking about doing more online. And more of us, I for the last numerous years have been traveling to some city in North America every week of my life. For the last 3 months, I have hardly left these four walls of my home office. And so my life is now on the telephone and on Zoom and on Microsoft Groups or Teams or whatever it's called, Cisco, WebEx. It's astounding to me every day. I get invited to some new platform that I didn't even know existed before. So what's my answer? My answer is we have to learn these techniques, and Joanne is an expert at them. And so people like Joanne are the types of people that we should reach out to and learn from, and think about how the world is going to be different. And one of the things that she said in her final couple of minutes with me was just take the next step. And a lot of people are worried about taking that first step because they think they're going to fail, but everyone fails. And failure challenges are what teaches us our lessons in life and makes us better. It's the old adage of what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And so I'm not suggesting that we try to kill ourselves with those next steps, but certainly taking that first step, taking that next step, giving it a shot, getting online, doing a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live that actually has some meat. And so my final comment would be, lots of people have commented about this in different ways, but I think the one that stuck with me the best was in that movie A Star Is Born a year ago with Bradley Cooper and oh my gosh, who was it? Bradley Cooper.
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga, thank you. Where the old rocker tells the young singer, the young ingenue, as she's about to get up on stage, if you're going to sing, have a message. And I think that, if you're going to blog, have a message. If you're going to podcast, have a message. If you're going to take people's time to do radio shows or whatever you're going to do to try to take people's time, have a message. And I think Joanne's got a message, and I hope I have a message. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to us tonight. The Brian Crombie Radio Hour is on Saga 960 AM every night, Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock, 960 on your AM dial. You can also stream us online at www.saga960am.ca. Or you can get my podcasts after the fact at www.saga960am.ca or on my own website, which is briancrombie.com/podcast. Or most of my shows are available as videocasts, which are also available on my website, briancrombie.com/videocasts. And since Joanne gave us the opening, I'll also say on my website, you can see all the other things that I'm up to and hire my services or recommend my services if you so feel interested. Thanks for joining tonight. Good night. Good night, Joanne.
Good night. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.